Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Los Angeles bass jazz pianist and composer Jordan Seigel. We talked to him on July 20th, 2020 during the COVID-19 lockdown about his latest 2020 CD, Beyond Images. This musician possesses an expressive original voice in a stunning variety of media, whether scoring projects for film and television or performing and improvising before rapt audiences on stages around the world. He approaches every pursuit with the same mission in mind, to create music that truly moves people, and he does it well. Enjoy his story.
Thanks for taking a minute out today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Love this new album. I've been playing it quite a bit, Beyond Images. Talk to me a little bit about, I know you've had a history of doing all kinds of different projects, and this album's kind of new territory for you. Talk to me a little bit about this album.
So this album was basically a chance for me to do whatever I want. So I'm a film composer and a pianist in LA, and often, I feel like if you're scoring for a film, you don't necessarily always get to write the music you want. You're dealing with revisions, and you have to do it as a picture, and often it's very rewarding and fun. But this kind of gave me an opportunity to blend my worlds and write the music that I want. But as I kind of developed the concept, I realized that I wanted to pay tribute to all these great film composers that I love and admire. So each song is inspired by a great film composer, and some are pretty tangibly, you can hear their influence, like the Randy Newman song is very much inspired by his harmony, and others a little more vague, like the Neo Morricone one's much more just inspired by his sense of melodicism rather than any harmonic tricks I might have stolen from him.
Talk to me a little bit about releasing this during the pandemic. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time to release music, but I think people want a break from the news every day, and so I decided to release it this time. I actually recorded it back in September of 2018. That's when we started our first recordings. We did it at United in Hollywood, which is a great studio, and I've basically been working ever since to get it all mixed and get all the different elements together. And so finally, when it was ready earlier this year, we said, okay, well, maybe we'll wait a little bit. But finally, I decided, I really want people to hear it. I could be waiting for a very long time. Who knows when we'll be out of this? And just I wanted it out there. I wanted people to kind of hear what my music sounds like.
Obviously, with the world shut down and everything that's happened with not only live music, but I'm sure with the studios, talk to me a little bit about how you've been making it through this pandemic and kind of, just what's been going on since maybe mid-March.
I feel fortunate that I've been able to stay pretty busy overall. I was working on a feature film for Focus Features for the first half of the year, which ended in June. So that was a good way to keep me busy, and we still did sessions for that. We did a string session in Budapest and solo sessions around town, just from home studios. And then I've had some orchestration work as well, and all the work that goes into planning an album release. So between those, I've been pretty busy and also had some time to relax and try and enjoy my free time as well. And right now, just trying to take advantage of some of the free time and study scores and play some transcriptions that I love doing, and some of the stuff that isn't just work-related.
So let's get into your beginnings. Talk to me about where you were born and raised and kind of how jazz became your life.
Yeah, so I'm from LA suburbs, and I started, playing piano when I was young, as a lot of people do, and I think I was 5 years old. And I didn't really get into it until I started doing jazz, which I was like probably 12 or 13. And kind of once I started, I caught the bug. I loved it. I would go to Amoeba Records in LA and get all the Oscar Peterson records I could, and I loved Duke Ellington and Count Basie, and it kind of started with big bands because that's what we do when we're young. I was in the middle school big band, and then the high school big band, and we were able to go to some of those festivals, like essentially Ellington Festival, some of the other ones. So, and I had a lot of great musicians who are still in the jazz community. We all went to high school together. Dave Robert, Danny Janklow, Joey Leffitz, a lot of great players. So that was very fortunate. And I started like that, and I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston. Was still playing jazz. I studied with Danilo Perez there, and many other great teachers. And but while I was there, I kind of noticed I wanted to do more than just play jazz. I loved it, but I also was trying to think logistically and see, okay, what is the career plan? And I kind of fell in love with film scoring. At first I just tried it and said, okay, well, let's hop into this major and see what it's all about. And I always loved film music. I loved John Williams. I loved a lot of Thomas Newman and Randy Newman and John Bryan. And I started it, and once I started writing music under picture, and a lot of it was very jazz influenced at the beginning, I fell in love with it, and so I graduated with a film scoring degree, and I came back here to LA, and I was kind of doing a little bit of everything, as I have been for the past 11 years or so. I played piano on camera for several TV shows like Glee, and I did the X Factor, and so some of that type of work, and pop piano work, and also was playing jazz around town, and playing with different singers, and eventually I started doing more film scoring work and additional music, and I've just been trying to balance stuff, balance all those different worlds, and it's hard, but I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So what do you like the best about being a musician?
Best about being a musician? Specifically, I guess so, best about being a pianist and working as a pianist is the collaboration of it. I love playing. There's so many great players in LA, and so it's such a joy to be able to perform with them and to record with them. And there's also an instant satisfaction that I get from the piano work that you don't necessarily get when you're composing orchestration, because it's such a long process. So you do a recording session, or you do a gig, and you immediately, cool, that was a great 2 or 3 hours. We got to play together, we created music, we connected with an audience, we get immediate feedback, and it's a very good feeling, and it's fun, and it's a hang. And while I love composing, at the end of a 6-month process of composing for a film, it's very rewarding. That's 6 months of not seeing as many friends, and 6 months of dealing with lots of revisions, and so it's a very different process. And so that's why I like having the balance of both.
So why do you love jazz?
I love jazz. Basically, I think what a lot of people would say is the freedom of it. It's such a broad term. So I love the feeling it gives you. As I mentioned before, I love, even though it's not necessarily the type of music I do on my album, I love listening to Errol Garner and Oscar Peterson, because it just feels good. It just makes you want to tap your foot. It puts you in a good mood. And man, through this whole pandemic, I've been listening to a lot of Errol Garner, because it just makes you feel good, and that's what I feel like jazz can do. Or it's also it feels deep. It feels like there's a lot of craft to it, and just like orchestration and classical music, I love music that connects with you and you feel it, but also feels like there's a lot of craft in it. And that's a lot of, the Beatles, Stevie Wonder, I love all of them because I feel the same way about their music, that there's just so much to dive into, and it makes you feel something and you can connect with it instantly.
When we do resume, I think I'm doing it, what do you hope both musicians and the audience realizes from this time away?
I hope we realize that I feel like we were taking a lot for granted, that just being with people and having the experience of going to watch a show with other people is a really amazing thing. I hope we support live music, I know especially in LA, we all kind of get into our habits of not wanting to go out and let's just stay home tonight. But I think it is such a special thing to be able to support musicians and also enjoy going to see music and art and theater and movies. And I think just one of many things I think we'll appreciate more when hopefully we get out of this pandemic at some point in the near future.
My final question is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're the one living your life. Who do you think you are?
It's a very good question. Who do I think I am? I'm a goofy soul. I think part of the reason I like being in these different worlds is because it provides something new. I don't want to just be stuck to one thing. And so, not taking anything too seriously in some sense of it allows me to go through these different worlds and not get bored of it and not get sick of it, but also dive into enough. It's not like I'm spreading myself too thin in so many different worlds. But I think I'm a little bit of a workaholic in that I love doing all three, and that it's really hard to balance and play three. I mean, composition, orchestration, and piano, and so I know it's kind of a convoluted answer, but hopefully that gets the point across a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great answer, man. Hey, thank you for taking some time out for Neon Jazz today. Thanks for the music. It's a wonderful album. Good luck with everything and stay safe.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Nice talking with you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Los Angeles, New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Jordan for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.